Well, hello everyone. I'd just like to say a big thank you to start off with for all the people who've been wishing me well after this current bout of COVID has struck our household. Anyway, I am feeling a lot better. I hope I don't cough and splutter all over everybody. I have my tissues to hand. I have my wet wipes to hand. I just hope we get through without too much of a kerfuffle. So what I wanted to do today was to show you what I did to get the effect of this butterfly and these leaves. And it was with a layer of tissue paper and ink. I don't know if it's an accepted technique, but it just kind of what I did one day. This one was kind of a bonus because in the process of doing this, I make a bit of a mess with water and ink and goodness knows what, and I blot it up. And this was my blotting from when I made this butterfly. I put it over the top, and these butterflies were cut from that. So you kind of get a bit of a bonus. So let's put all these away before I mess them up completely with other inks. So to start off with, I had a piece of card. The green ones, I used a piece of craft card. And in fact, the tissue paper that I used was a pale green. I've got some of it here. It's actually, I don't know where it came from. I think it was donkey's years ago when I was teaching these, and you can tell how long ago that was. I've been retired for 15 years. We used to get scraps from a scrap bank, and I think it was, the sort of stuff that shops would wrap clothes in before they package them for you to take home. It's what I use for my clothes when I go on cruises to pack so that the dresses don't crease. That's beside the point. Today I'm going to use just a plain bit of white, and this stuff I think came out of a shoebox. You often get shoes wrapped in a bit of tissue, don't you? So what I'm going to start off by doing, this is PVA glue. This is a really good one, and it's really cheap. I'll get this open properly. There we go. Oh, for goodness sake. I used this earlier this morning and I didn't clean it off properly. That's probably what the trouble is. You can see my fingers are filthy from this morning. Look at that. Anyway, I'm going to spread that out with my palette knife just so that it's all over the front of this piece of card. There we go. And then I'm going to screw up the piece of tissue paper, because the idea of this is that the creases are what is going to give some interest to the actual overall thing. Now I'm just going to squeeze this in a bit so that none of it's hanging over the edge. Just squeeze it in. There we go. You can see I've got quite a nice lot of creases on there. I think one thing you have to think of when you're doing this technique is what you're going to use it for at the end. So you've got to think of the sort of image that you may want to die cut. It may just be a background, which is absolutely fine. But if you want to die cut it, think what you're going to cut it with. I thought this time I'd try flowers, and I've got a few things here. I'm not quite sure of the manufacturers of all these. I think that might be Alta New. I've forgotten the name. This daisy one. I don't know. I'm sure people can find out if they need to later. Anyway, what I'm going to do is just give a little squirt of water so that's slightly wet, and I'm going to put on some drops of Distress ink. I've got various colours here. I'm going to do reds today. So what's this one? Festive Berries. Let's put a few drops of Festive Berries on. I'm actually quite glad to be using some of these. I bought loads of refills when I first started using Distress inks, and I love them so much. But to be honest, since I've discovered Distress oxides, I don't use my regular Distress pads quite so much. So all my refills are going to come in handy for other things. This one is ripe persimmon, and I'm going to add also some mustard seed. There we go. Now, another squirt of water. Or two. And then let's take a print. This does two things actually. It helps to mop up some of the liquid, and it also spreads the colours together underneath. See what a difference that made? Doesn't that look lovely? So you've got kind of a twofer really. You've got the tissue paper one and the print one. And can you see? They're lovely. So I'm going to put these on one side because in good Blue Peter fashion, anyone who is not from the UK doesn't understand that. Blue Peter was the name of a children's programme that's been going on British television for years and years. Fabulous programme, doing all sorts of things. And one of the sections of the programme often would be something that they were going to show the kids how to make something. And they would start the process and they'd always say, and here's one I made earlier. And they take away what they've got and they bring out the one that's ready to be used. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to bring out one I made earlier. That's what I was doing this morning, which is why I've got red fingers now. Let's put these somewhere where they can dry without damaging anything. Here are the ones I made this morning. There we go. Now they're dry. That's one I made the other day, green. This one I sprinkled a little mica powder onto and spritzed that as well. So that's got a sort of a silvery sheen. Now, if you want to highlight some of the relief in these tissue paper, I don't know what you call them really, we'll call them backgrounds for now. If you want to do that and you use something like a gilding wax like this, it's best to do it before you die cut. And the reason being, if you wait until after you've die cut, the dye will squish this down a lot flatter and you won't get so much relief. So when you're trying to catch a bit of something to put some relief on it, it'll be flatter and it won't be so effective. So I'll try to put a little bit on now. I'll just go with a red one for the time being. And you can see there's lots of sort of veins in it. So let's try some gilding wax. I love this stuff, but it's incredibly strong. You don't need, if I was to go from there straight onto here, I'd get a great finger-shaped bit. But if I put it on the board first, I can be a bit more delicate with it. So there, I can pick up the surface of those tissue paper ridges. Let me just see if I can come in a bit closer for this. Can you see this? You see there? Some lovely, lovely veining. You see? But I will do a little bit straight from there just so that you see what happens. It's much more intense. Do you see what I mean? That was better than I thought it was going to be perfectly honest. But you do need to just be a little prudent and not put too much on at once. But isn't that lovely? Can you see? I think that's fab. Okay, put that away. Now these I thought might make a gerbera. I thought it might look rather nice as a gerbera. So I don't know what they would look like. And if I want to do any a sentiment or something like that, I can use this to die cut as well, and then the sentiment will match exactly because it's a print that was taken from that. So let's just, what shall we take I don't know what these are going to turn out like because I've not tried them. I don't know whether let's try some of these first of all. I'll use the edges. Let's come out again. Let's go from there. You can't actually see my die cutting machine, but it doesn't matter. I'll just take 3 right on the edge. I want to get as much out of this one piece as I possibly can. I'm a bit mean, I'm afraid, with my backgrounds, but let's have a look, see what we've got here. Often if you've got delicate die cuts, it's easier to take them down through rather than trying to pull them up. Don't know why it should be, but it often is. I don't think I've had quite enough pressure on. My poor old Cuttlebug is feeling its age, I'm afraid. I tend to use that when I'm doing let's just do some more. Which one's this? This one. I should have checked. Now I'll do different ones because I just don't want to. I can come back to those when I'm not doing this. The small one. There we go. I'll just put a shim on this time. Right, let's have a look, see if that did the business. Yeah, that's better. That was came out a treat. Right, let's just see what these look like. Oh, they are pretty, look. They would make nice gerbers. Now with a gold centre, that would be quite spectacular, wouldn't it? Let's try some of the others, see what the others look like. Don't know what that's going to be like. Let's try this one. Right. Quite nice. Look at the colours there. Don't like this bit, but then what I can do is I can touch that up with a bit of ink afterwards. That's quite nice. I wonder what this one's going to look like. This is just a base. Let's put it here. got room for the 3? Can I fit the 3? I don't know. Let me just see. Let's just cut this one for the minute. I can maybe get the 3rd one out of the one I've just done this morning. Get rid of all the little bits. It might be interesting to see what happens with this. Don't like that on there. Can I fit this one? No. Another one of those. Not quite. Let's do some more of these in this case then, because I can do those later. I mess around for hours, you know. Absolute hours doing not very much. Get those 2 on there. Okay. Yes, they've cut. I love this subtle veining from the gilding wax. You can do what you like, whatever you will. Now with the little gold centres in here, I think that would be really rather nice. I will make a card with what I have done. Let's try a bit of veining on here. I put the mica on that before, but it was just random. Let's just try. Let's see how that all shines up. There. See it? It's very interesting. Anyway, I'll cut some more out of this. It's a simple process. So it's white glue, scrunched up tissue or flattened out tissue paper, spritz of water, some ink of some description, a water-soluble ink, some more water, take a print, let it dry, die cut it. Simple as that. I'll make some cards with the bits and pieces that I've cut, and I'll let you see the results. So thanks ever so much for watching.